So we're gonna make the standing heart project. So what you have is you have an XO and then a heart. The heart stands on its side. You can't really see that. So what we'll do, what I'm planning on doing, you guys could do any colors that you'd like. You were given red, black, and white. What I'm gonna do, I think, is I'm gonna do a black heart with a pink XO and then white polka dots everywhere. So you guys could do whatever colors that you'd like. I'm gonna stick with those, I think. So our first step is we are going to paint our XO. When we paint our XO, we need several coats of paint. I have a plate here to mix paints, but if you don't have a plate, you just use the cap of one of your paints. I also have some water nearby and a paper towel to wash and dry my brush. My brush is very red right now. All right, so I'm gonna make a pink. To make a pink, all I'm gonna do is take some white and then keep on adding teeny bits of red until you get a nice pink. I think that's good for me. So I got a nice little pink here. I'm gonna take some of the paint off my brush because you don't need globs of paint on there. So I'm just going to lightly paint my XO. Yeah, I'm gonna let it dry for like a minute between the coats and then I'm gonna put a second coat on. The more coats, the better. I don't really worry about the edges that much, but you could go right ahead and paint your edges as well. So I put 2 coats on it. When you're painting your second coat, you just want to make sure you get all the paint out of the little crevices, especially on the script. Because if you leave that paint, it's probably going to take hours to dry. So I got all that paint. I'm going to leave that aside to dry. I'm going to look at it once it's dry and see if it needs another coat. You could always add more coats. The more coats you add, the more opaque your color is. All right, so we are gonna paint this heart black. So I just cleaned my brush and I'm going to paint it black. Once I do the first coat, I just check, make sure everything is coated nicely, you have no spots. All right, so I'm gonna let both those things dry and then we're gonna come back and add some detail, but just give you an illusion of what it's gonna look like. So I'm gonna let those dry for about 5 minutes and then we'll come back, add some detail. So now we're gonna finish up my heart. It's all dry. I didn't paint the back, but if you want to paint the back, then you can make like a shamrock on the back and you could use it two-sided, but we're focused on Valentine's Day. I'm going to put my XO to the side because it's going to be standing. So, but you could also, if you want, you could put a hook in the back and then you could just put it on the wall like this, but I'm gonna leave my XO like that. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna actually glue the XO and then I'm gonna add some detail around it. So I'm gonna glue the XO with just a little bit of Elmer's glue. Just make sure it's not school glue because sometimes that doesn't always dry clear. I'm using a paintbrush, but you don't have to. All right, so I'm gonna put my XO down how I'd like it. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is in the background with the back of my paintbrush and some white paint, I'm gonna put little white hearts. So how I make my hearts, I put a little bit of paint on my brush and I just make one line going down and then another. I just almost make like little V's and they look like little hearts. So I'm gonna put a bunch of little V's. Once I have a whole bunch of little V's, for hearts, I could also add some polka dots too. If you just want to do polka dots, go for it. And if you mess up, it's so easy, just wipe it, let it dry a little, and then you could paint whatever color you have in your background. So there we have our little heart. Once this is dry, you could stand it up for a little Valentine's Day decoration.